You're a citizen, you are provided for to vote in the Constitution, in Article 59, and then they say, take the next step to register as a voter.
Interesting.
So it is not...
So you can't force somebody.
No, you can't force somebody. But then, you can't force somebody.
Interesting, because why I asked you that was because these are saying that there are 44 million Ugandans, but the numbers that are registering for voting are still in thousands. So that was the confusing part. But anyway, we're here with Julius Mucunguzi from the Electoral Commission discussing the extension of the voter registration update exercise that was announced yesterday by the Justice Simon Byabakama. Sorry, I was going to say Julius Byabakama. So he told us as well that if you are interested in a transfer of a polling station, you can do that. It's not a must that you have to vote from where you registered. You can go and update your information in case you shifted, in case you got married and moved out of that area. You can as well proceed and change polling stations. And we are here with Mr. Mucunguzi from the Electoral Commission to discuss and decipher these issues and see exactly how our society, how our country gets affected. We are moving towards the general elections 2026. Actually, I'll call them 2025, 2026 because they are commencing this year and the processes are already ongoing. He's going to give us an update on that as well. But first, he's going to tell us why exactly they decided to extend this particular period. After saying hi to us, of course. You're most welcome to studio this morning.
Thank you very much for having me here, and good morning to the viewers of Family TV, Church of Uganda Family TV. It's always a pleasure to be here, and thank you for the work that you do. So, as you rightly mentioned, yesterday, the 10th of February 2025, the Commission, and when we say the Commission, we are talking about the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Justice Mucunguzi Simon.
Yes.
We're talking about the Deputy Hajat Aisha Rubega and the other commissioners. That is what constitutes the Commission. It is the Commission is the highest decision-making body of the Electoral Commission.
So the Justice Simon does not make decisions on his own?
No. The decisions of the Commission are taken through consensus. The Commission meets, in fact, meets twice every week.
Okay.
To discuss issues that pertain to the electoral process. And so yesterday morning, the Commission met at the Commission headquarters on 7th Street Industrial Area.
Yes.
And took note of emerging issues and reports that were coming from the countryside. But before that, I must mention that when this exercise commenced on the 20th of January 2025, members of the Commission, those that I've mentioned, plus management and all staff, went out in the field to begin to see how the exercise of the general update of the National Voters Register was going, taking stock of the emerging issues, monitoring the exercise, taking a pulse of the complaints or comments from the public. And this was done throughout the entire period since the commencement on the 20th of January. And along the way, the Commission was taking note of a number of issues.
Okay.
One of the issues was, as we knew, as we were going into the exercise, that we had fewer kits for taking biometrics of the people, especially those that are registering for the first time. We needed 5,000 kits. We had 2,703. And the explanation again had been given before by the Commission that these are kits that we obtained from NIRA, the registration agency, and these have been used over time, and some of them are susceptible to malfunctioning. So, because of that initial reduction of inertia of the process, we already could see that there may be a need for extension. But also, the Commission, in the course of those 21 days, 22 days, interacted with several stakeholders. As the Commission has always mentioned, the process of conducting a free, fair, credible, transparent election is a responsibility of all stakeholders that are involved. The Commission is the main stakeholder because it is the driver of the process, but it works with others. And along the way, the Commission interacted with members of Parliament through the Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee of Parliament, met civil society groups, met media, And all of them were raising some of these issues. So, in totality, in taking into totality of the issues and emerging issues that had come from the ground, observed by the Commission itself, and requests from the public and stakeholders, the Commission took the decision to extend the duration of the update of the National Voters Register exercise by another 7 days. And that decision was taken yesterday. It was announced across the country, and we want to let the people know that we still have a window of 7 days, starting today, the 12th. Today is when? Starting today, the 11th of February, up to the 17th of February. We are appealing to all those who had not been covered in the last set of update period to take advantage of this period, because as the Commission mentioned, as the chairperson mentioned yesterday, after these 7 days there will be no more extension, and the Commission will have closed the exercise of the general update of the National Voters Register. So the decision was taken out of the Commission's own assessment in the field and its interaction and concerns that were raised by key stakeholders in the electoral process, the political parties, members of parliament, civil society, religious institutions, the media, and the Commission, being the Commission that it is, that listens, that takes a pulse of what is happening, took that decision, and here we are now. And we believe that now within these 7 days we should be able to cover much more ground, because most of the problems and challenges we faced in the initial period have now being addressed, but perhaps now, like addressing and working on the kits which were malfunctioning in some cases, our staff in the field have a better appreciation of how to quickly put back a kit that may develop a problem. Because as we were closing yesterday, we are seeing many people coming up at an update centers across the country wanting to register as voters. And for us that was a good sign that people really take this right to vote as provided for in Article 59 of the Constitution very seriously. But also, it also indicates one of the issues that normally we have with ourselves, that we tend to wait for last minute. Let me look our people right in the eyes and request that please don't wait to come on 15th and 16th and 17th. Use the dates that have been provided for this extension beginning today, so that we can cover as much ground as possible and ensure that no one who is eligible is left behind when it comes to, one, being on the National Voters Register, and two, being then able ultimately to exercise their fundamental right provided in the Constitution to vote and elect and choose your leaders and choose our leaders. Okay.
So my next question actually was why it's important for me to be on the register as a Ugandan. What significance and benefit is it for our Ugandan out there to be on this particular voters register, which is in relation to the fact that we need more people to come, so we are trying to sensitize.
Yes.
We have over 44 million Ugandans,
yes,
and the voters register is still in thousands.
Yes.
So why is it important for me to be on the register?
So when we talk about the right to vote, the right to vote is actually anchored in Article 1 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda of 1995.
Okay.
And that Article 1 says that all power belongs to the people who shall exercise their sovereignty in accordance with this Constitution. That is Article 1, Clause 1. And then it goes on to say, all power and authority of government and its organs derive from this Constitution. But Clause 4 is the most significant of Article 1, that the people shall express their will and consent on who shall govern them and how they should be governed through regular, free and fair elections of their representatives or through a referenda. That is the first article of the Constitution. And then the Constitution then provides for how this right, how this power to choose leaders will be exercised. And that's why it comes in Article 59 and says, every citizen of Uganda, the actual chapter says the right to vote, every citizen of Uganda of 18 years and above has the right to vote. So the right to vote is not given by anybody or out of generosity or out of goodwill. It emanates inherently from the provision of the Constitution. And of course, we have an institution of government that determines and verifies citizenship. That is NIRA. And once NIRA has done its job, then the Commission comes in to register voters. In Article 63, which defines the various roles of the Electoral Commission, it has a provision that speaks to the Commission being responsible for, one, broadly for organizing elections in the country, but specifically to compile and maintain a national voters register. Now, if you are not on the national voters register, first, you can't vote. 2, you can't contest or be nominated. You can't be nominated as a candidate. You can't be a candidate. 3, you can't nominate a candidate if you're not on the voters register. 4, you cannot become an agent of a candidate. And 5, you can't raise a petition to complain in the event that there is a problem in the electoral process. So you can see that to be a voter, which is defined by being on the national voters register, is the foundation upon which the right to vote is actually actualized. And that is why the Commission has been and continues to be very consistent in saying, if you are going to, 1, take advantage of the provision of the Constitution that all power belongs to the people of Uganda, and 2, to exercise your right to choose your leaders. And these are at all levels: LOCs, councillors, LOC 5 chairpersons, members of parliament, president, all of them. To be able to exercise that right, you must be on the national voters register. Now, this exercise that is ongoing under this extended period is also the basis upon which the various other special interest group registers will be built and extracted. Because, you know, we have the National Voters Register. That is the master document. Okay. Then out of it, we draw the register for youth. Because we know we have youth councils who ultimately end up with, you know, youth members of parliament. So they are registered to be on the register of the Youth Council process or youth elections. You must first be on the National Voters Register. Then we have the register for older persons. That also emanates from the same document. Then we have the register for persons with disabilities. Again, it emanates from the National Voters Register. So clearly, the exercise that the Commission is undertaking now is what essentially defines the elections in this country, especially in light of the 2025-2026 general election. I should mention that this exercise of the general update of the National Voters Register is something that the Commission, is an activity that the Commission undertakes at the beginning of the preparations of every general election. Okay. Partly out of the roadmap that the Commission releases when the process is beginning. And you will recall that we mentioned here, and we've been mentioning, that the Commission released a roadmap. And the first element on that roadmap was the demarcation of electoral areas at local government level, so that people know which seats are available. Then there was the organization of polling stations. And once we have established the positions that are available, then now we must have a register that will then actualize the process of the electoral process. So we are undertaking a very important exercise, and because of the significance of this exercise, that's why the Commission said, listened, observed, and took the decision to say, you know, as they say, we should leave no one behind. No one should be left behind. Those that have what it takes, that are eligible citizens of Uganda, 18 years and above, to be able to come out register, and be able ultimately to exercise their franchise and vote.
Are you on the voters register?
Personally, for me, let me now, I checked my particulars. I have been a voter. I've been a consistent voter since I turned 18. So my first election, I first voted. I have to be sure that I was. But I first voted in 1996.
Okay.
I was a first-year student at Makerere University at that time.
Wow.
And then in 2001 I voted, but I also at that time I was a reporter reporting for the Monitor newspaper.
Wow.
So that was in 2001, and I also voted in 2006. And then I have subsequently continued. So I am a registered voter. I am an active citizen because I take this duty and this right very seriously.
Wow.
And on this occasion, what I did, because, and this is the point that we've been mentioning, the Commission has been mentioning, that this is not a mass exercise, a mass registration exercise. It is targeted and targeting new voters, those Ugandans who are citizens, 18 years and above, but have never registered as voters. And there are many. Those are the ones that are being targeted because those are the ones who grow the national voters register. The question you asked at first, and he said, we are 45 million Ugandans, but we are seeing 18 million people. Where are the rest? The rest are there. And because you see, to be a citizen does not automatically make you a voter. You must apply to be a voter. It has not been made, we don't have a situation where voting is compulsory. So you have to actively demonstrate, apply to be a voter by registering as a voter on the National Voters Register. So that is why people apply for citizenship for various reasons. Some people will say, I want a national ID because I want to open a bank account. Or others say, I want a national I want a national ID because I want to get a passport and go to look for greener pastures.
Yes.
Others get citizenship or apply for citizenship for other reasons, but not necessarily to vote. So that is why there is a next step of saying, you are a citizen, right? Now, actualize your right to vote by registering to be on National Voter Register. And during this period, we have been doing and we continue to do the following. One, register new voters, those who have never voted, applied to registered as voters. Number two, we've been effecting and we're effecting transfers. Yes. There are people who between 2021 and now have moved, changed the particulars, moved locations.
But before we get to transfers,
yes,
I just wanted you to point out, you said the kits were not enough at some point,
yes,
and also the staff training, the staff that Electoral Commission has on ground.
Yes.
How trained are they now, based on the challenges you faced, and now these remaining days, is there any improvement?
No, in fact, you see, in the preparation for the commencement of the exercise on 20th of January, before that, a number of things happened. One, the Commission recruited over 12,000 parish and sub-county supervisors. They are the foot soldiers that are on the ground implementing this exercise. After recruiting them, there was a very comprehensive exercise of training them on how to use the kits, on how to undertake the process, on how to fill the forms, on how to assist those people that would be coming and asking all sorts of questions. So there was in-depth training of these people. Then first we had a training of trainers workshop at the national level that then was later cascaded to the regions. We have 12 regions according to the Electoral Commission road map. We have an electoral map of 12 regions.
Okay.
Training was undertaken at that level. Then there was training at the district level, and then from the district level the training cascaded down to sub-county and parish. So that was done. The second element in preparation was stakeholders workshops. All the commissioners, the chairperson, the deputy, and all the commissioners and members of management all went out in the 12 regions to undertake and coordinate workshops with stakeholders, political leaders, civil society groups, religious institutions where they exist, religious institutions, cultural leaders, All of them met in various locations, in Mbale, in Jinja, in Gulu, in Fort Poto, in Hoima, in Mbarara, and Central here in Kampala, it was at Hotel Africana. And again, explaining to the people that this is coming and this is important. Because the commission knows that unless you have on board all of the people that need to be on board, you definitely cannot succeed in conducting an election. So the training was there, and the workshops bringing together stakeholders was also there. So in the days that have passed, our staff have been using these machines. Some of them have been having problems, as I mentioned, but now we see the more you get used to an piece of equipment, the more you become more comfortable using it and troubleshooting it. But also, in the planning of the commission, because we knew that this was a likelihood, we have IT people at districts and regions who are on standby to provide troubleshooting support. So they are at sub-counties, they are at districts, they are at regions. And they can remotely provide information on how to address a problem on a machine or another problem, but also have a command center, a team of experts at the headquarters who are always looking at the reports coming in and ensuring that any issue that is raised is addressed. We have a WhatsApp group of all staff of the commission, 800 of them across the country, and during this period, the only subject entertained on that WhatsApp group, I am the one administrator, the only subject entertained is update on the National Voters Register, telling us this is here, this is there, I need help here, I need help here, we have got this, we are making this progress here. So we are keeping our tabs on the ground and the pulse on the ground, and that is why it was not very difficult for the commission to take the decision it took yesterday, because all facts were there to justify the extension.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mucunguzi. Now let's take a very short break because of time. We are coming back to find out more about the transfers and of course what next after these 7 days. Stay with us. This is Church of Uganda Family TV, Issues at Hand.
Issues at Hand, powered by
Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe. Comfort and luxury at its best.
This is Church of Uganda Family TV. Enriching lives. Regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission. Issues at Hand, powered by
Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe. Comfort and luxury at its best.
You are welcome back to Issues at Hand. This morning, it is a Tuesday, the 11th of February 2025, and of course remember we are in the season of elections and electing new leaders and choosing people to stand for us in office and of course represent us to the fullest. My name is Carol, and of course we are here once again. Now remember to follow the conversation on our YouTube platform, that's at COU Family TV, also on X, formerly Twitter, at COU Family TV, and all the other platforms. You can, of course, reach out, engage in the conversation, ask questions, and of course, we shall be sure to answer them. I'm sure this is not Mr. Mucunguzi's last time here, since it's the season. So even when you ask later, we can always register the questions and get to him when he comes back. However, right now, we are still discussing the issue of extension of voters' registration update and the transfers from one polling station to another. If you're not comfortable with your polling station, there is an option for you to transfer, and that is what we're going to get into right now. tell us about the transfer, because we had the Justice Biawakama speak about it yesterday in the news, and I thought I would bring it up so that if somebody out there did not get a chance to watch the news, they can get the update from here.
Thank you, Carol. You just mentioned the digital platforms.
Yes.
Let me also just mention that I am a digital person. So I also have an X account at J_Mucunguzi. At J_Mucunguzi. We need to amplify these voices. At J_Mucunguzi, you will see some of the things that we do, but also have the EC account, which is X account, which is at UgandaEC.
Okay.
At UgandaEC. So again, when the people go there, they will find a lot of very useful information that about what the commission is doing.
Okay.
But now, speaking still along those lines, is to say that for people who simply wish to check their particulars, whether their particulars from the last general election on the voter register are still correct, we have two options. The first option is using the website www.ec.or.ug/register. When you enter those particulars, and then you enter your NIN, the wrong number on the national ID, or even those without IDs, that number they give you called the NIN. When you enter it, it will bring particulars of your current polling and voting locations. So one of the things we've been using and we continue to use and urge people watching to use is get your NIN, enter it on that platform on the website of the EC, your details will come. And if you have done that, you don't need to do any other thing. And that's why we've been saying that this exercise is not a mass exercise. Not everybody needs to come out, to come and line up. This is not a voting exercise. This is not an election. This is a registration exercise. And the target is very clear. Those that are already on the voters register can simply check their particulars online. Then the others who wish to physically check the particulars, they can go to the parishes, because this exercise is taking place at parishes, and then they will be able to check on the register and confirm that their particulars are correct. And the last one, the other point now is on the transfers. So between 2021 and now, people have moved, people have changed locations, people would wish to vote from different places. That is provided for under this general update of the National Voters Register. And the law says that you can vote in two places, either of the two places, one from where you reside or where you originate from. That is what the law says.
Okay.
Where you reside or where you originate from. Now, if you are going to make a transfer now from Jinja to Kampala or from Kampala to Jinja, your new place where you wish to register to vote from must confirm either of the two things, that you are either a resident or you originate from there. And that is where the requirement of local council chairpersons, LOCs, to stamp on the form of transfer has come in as a requirement. Because somebody must confirm that you are a resident. Now, we know that there are some Ugandans actually who don't know their LOC chairpersons. I'm not going to ask you your LOC chairperson, but there are people who don't know where their LOC chairperson resides. There are also people who don't know where their LOC offices are. That is an exercise of civic education that we are encouraging all Ugandans. We encourage you, all Ugandans, please know your LOC. Know it. The name of your LOC one. What is your village? Know your polling station. Know your parish. Know your sub-county. Know your, of course, district you know, but most people lack these basics, and these are very important because, you know, many years ago when the LOCs had just come, you could not go into a locality. I remember when I first went to Jinja as a young man in 1989, going to join senior one. The first thing my uncle, who took me to stay with him in Jinja, was to take me to report and register at the LOC. It was the first requirement. You could not go into a village and live there for a week without the local leadership knowing that we have a new person in this place. And that is a best practice, really. A best practice, because you need to know your neighborhood. You need to know the people around you. And so the transfer process requires that a person who wishes to transfer to a new location must be confirmed by the local leadership that indeed they are resident or they originate from there.
Yeah.
The reason is to make sure that you avoid a number of things. You know, you can have mercenaries. Imagine somebody can decide to perpetuate an exercise of mass transfers of people to a constituency and tilt the fortunes of elections in that particular. Imagine if somebody invested money in 10,000 people and moved them from one constituency to another, and there was yes, somebody gets people, pays them, and says transfer to this constituency. By simply that act, if there are no safeguards of saying you must reside here or you must originate here, somebody could easily change the dynamics of an electoral process by simply undertaking a fraudulent process of transfer. And that is why it is very important. And the lawmakers, I believe, were very alive to this possibility that some people could hire mercenaries or bachuba to make those transfers. So the exercise requires that you will fill a transfer form. It will be confirmed to where you want to be, and that is why a requirement that you must be physically present is also a requirement, and then you will be confirmed. But you must also know where you are coming from. Where did you vote last time? And many people actually don't remember. So again, those are basic civic education matters. Civic education matters that we must customize ourselves to. This exercise of the national update of the voters register is taking us back to the basics of the things we need to know about ourselves, about our community, about our local leadership, about our citizenship, about our being Ugandan. That we must know our surroundings and environment.
True.
So that window is there for those who wish to genuinely, make transfers. And there are many reasons that cause people to transfer. Obviously,
it's also ending after 7 days.
Yes. All this, the transfer process ends on the 17th. The registration of new voters ends on 17th. And then we have another category of students who were registered while at school by NIRA. They registered, they were not yet 18. When they were at school, now they have turned 18, and those now qualify to register as voters. The commission has been, registering these, but we believe that there may still be those who went back to school before they could do this.
Yes.
And we're trying to see and say, could our staff out there go to particular schools, those especially which are in boarding school? How will the commission choose? Complicated, but we want to try everything possible. And that is why, by the way, because of the significance attached to this exercise, that is why the commission and this exercise takes place every day from 8 to 6, and on Sunday and also on Saturday. This has been the practice, and even this Saturday and this Sunday, that window will still be open. I've been telling friends that during this exercise, the staff of the commission have been operating on a team no sleep basis. Team no sleep, team no Saturday, team no Sunday, team no weekend, no wedding, no whatever. To dedicate all the available energy and time to this exercise and ensure that we cover as much ground as we can humanly possible cover. So, if you wish to transfer, you are at liberty to do so, but you must do so by filling that form, and then your details will be captured to the new location.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, after these 7 days, one wonders what next, because there are still a few issues that we need to know about, nominations and all that. But anyway, first take us through what happens after the update, after
Yes.
the 7 days, then
Yes.
we'll see where to go from there.
So immediately after the closure of the update exercise,
Yes.
now the work of the staff of the commission will actually begin, because all returns from this exercise are going to be analyzed, are going to be correlated, are going to be processed, so that we have a national voters register draft that is available for display. Because the reason for undertaking the general update of the national voters register is to ensure that we have a document, a national voters register that is reliable, that is credible, that is believable, that is solid. So after processing all of these returns, what has come from the transfers, what has come from the students who have been brought onto the voters register, after bringing together data that has come from the new registrations, then the register will be compiled and it will be made available for display in April. So we have the whole of this process that between most of March will be for processing all of these returns.
Okay.
And then in April, we will have March, end of March, April, May there, we will have the display period. The display, unlike the update, will take place at each polling station. So we will display the list, the voters register per polling station. And when that time comes, we will be here, we will be in the various platforms telling people, please use this period to go and check this register. And then people will be able to say, no, this name, we don't know it here. No, this person died. No, this one moved. No, this one is not a Ugandan. And there will be tribunals, mechanisms for receiving that feedback, processes and resolve it. So that now you can correct and say, at each polling station, we are satisfied that the people that exist on this polling station, on this register here, are the correct people. And that is where, again, the issue of the public being the vanguards of ensuring a credible register comes in. Because at that point, the officers of the Electoral Commission cannot know people who died. They cannot know who is not a resident. They cannot know who moved. They cannot know who. So if there had been any discrepancy at the process of the update or at the process of the transfer, and people were transferred illegally, or people who did not belong as residents or as people who originate from that place, then people will be able to say, no, this one out, this one out. And what remains will be a credible register. And that is why when we finally have a credible voters register, as we will, it will have been a collective effort by all persons, by all people of Uganda, because this is our country, this is our national voters register, this is our election, and this is our Electoral Commission. So that is what will happen. So we'll have the processing and then display. And after now you've got the register that is clean, then you can now begin to talk about nominations.
Okay.
And the nominations will start with special interest groups. The ones I talked about. So, and that's why, as you rightly said at the beginning, this is the 2025-2026 general election, because the number of the election processes of nominations for these people will begin in June.
In June.
Yes. So youth, elderly, persons with disabilities, that now will begin doing nomination. And we expect now that, because we released the roadmap, that political parties should also by that time now have conducted their party primaries. We start to conduct their party primaries so that they have their candidates who will contest in the general election when it happens. So The reason why the commission releases a roadmap is to enable all those that need to plan and do what they need to do. On the roadmap, there are many elements on it. For instance, there is a provision for civil servants to resign. It's a requirement by the law that you must have resigned within a given period of time. It's provided here.
In order to stand for office?
Yes. If you don't resign in time, somebody can challenge your election and bring you away from parliament or from any position because you didn't resign in time. So we call upon, let us call upon all the civil servants that are watching this program this morning. If you intend to contest for any elective position, the provisions are on our roadmap. Check it out on the website www.ec.or.ug. Check the specific dates. And then you also have to work out if you resign, what notice do you have to give to your employer? If you resign without taking into that into account, you may fail to have secured the necessary resignation notice or release notice, and that can affect your possibility and opportunity to participate in elections. So that's why the roadmap is very significant, and that's why we want people to read it and mark the dates that concern them. Wow. So then when you have nominations, after nominations, then you can have campaigns, and after campaigns, then we have elections. Okay.
Interesting. Now, if I registered in 2021,
yes,
but I've not got time to go to check my particulars, will that still count? Yes.
When you registered in 2021, maybe you voted, maybe you didn't vote, but you know that you were on the register. If you're unable to check now, which I won't encourage you to check, but in the event that you are not able to check, then the display will show. But remember, if at the display time you find that you are not on the register, or there is a problem in the register, there will be you cannot revert to that situation. That is why we say this is the time. Use this time because it is the time that is available. To make sure that you don't leave anything to chance on an important matter like being on the National Voters Register.
And do you know the candidate you're going to vote for president?
Well, I really can't say. I can't say because fortunately the Constitution provided that it is a secret ballot and it is person holder. That one I keep it myself. But I have learned that I just joined the commission last year, that a number of the staff of the commission sometimes don't vote because they are busy. They are busy. They are deployed in different parts of the country. So I may actually,
please vote. We need your vote.
But you see, those are the things. The people who are on duty, how do they vote? Do we have a provision for?
They report to office in the morning. They vote, then go to.
But you don't vote from office. You vote from the resident
polling station.
So those are some of the dynamics. But I am an active citizen, and I will play my role in this process.
Okay.
I am hoping that first that you have checked your particulars.
Then
second that you actually vote, because actually speaking about that, one of the other issues that we've been facing as a country is low voter turnout.
Yeah.
People register to vote, 18 million people like in 2021, 18 million people, and the turn-up is 10 million people.
So all the 8 million have remained home.
And that is really a big cost to our democracy. Remember that when we have registered 19 or 20 million voters, the planning of every item will be based on that number. So there will be 20+ million ballot papers. And when a ballot paper is procured and bought, it cannot be reused. You can't say, bring the ballot papers of 2021. So when we register, as you register now, please also have it in mind, and I'm speaking to those people that are looking at this, watching this program.
As we wrap up anyway.
Yes, when you register, please also have it in your plan to make sure that you come out and vote, because we want to make sure that there is effective citizenship and effective voter registration, that you should walk the talk. We should walk the talk from registration to voting, because when you don't vote, you cost the country. You don't have any right to complain if you have bad leaders, and so you need to take ownership of our country, take charge of the destiny by ensuring that you apply Article 1 of the Constitution, Clause 4, to choose your leaders through regular, free and fair elections that the Electoral Commission supervises.
Thank you. Thank you very much for coming this morning. Thank you to the Commission as well. Please send our regards to the team. It is the season officially. We are, of course, heading for elections. And for you to prepare or to be very, very well prepared for this election, you need to, of course, check your particulars, check your information. Is it tarrying with what is the truth, or are there some mistakes? So you need to do all that in the next 6 to 7 days so that you are able to actually be an eligible voter of the Ugandan leadership that is incoming come 2026. But also the processes, as we've heard, are starting in 2025. We have party primaries, and then we shall have the Electoral Commission updating us here and there. As you have heard, there's from now to April, there is that straightening out of the register, and then we shall have the next step in June. Please do remain with us at COU Family TV for those updates and so much more. For example, today we still have a string of program lineups that you should not miss. My name is Carol. We are powered by Protea Hotel by Marriott, and from myself and the production crew,